often are they being visited?
This is not like touristic spot. They live in the jungle and then moving nomad life. Itu sekarang ada berapa?
Sekarang hanya 5 saja.
Now it's
Despite the advancements of the modern world, there are communities that continue to live in a primitive manner, relying on fire for warmth and using animal skins for clothing. Some have had occasional contact with outsiders, but have chosen to maintain their unique traditions. Others fiercely protect their territory and are willing to resort to violence to keep their way of life intact. Join us as we explore these remarkable peoples who live according to the customs of their ancestors, untouched by the modern world. Yali Tribe. The Yali tribe lives far out in the mountains of Papua New Guinea. They dislike talking to anyone outside their group. In 1988, a daring adventurer called Benedict Allen set out to discover them. The Yali tribe greeted him with powerful dances. Benedict returned to view the Yali in 2017, at the age of 57. Before leaving, he warned everyone not to look for him since he was going somewhere no one could find him. For a month, no one knew where he was. However, in November, someone discovered him in Papua New Guinea. He said the Yali were nice to him. They let him watch how they live and even made him part of a special ceremony. Because of Benedict, the world learned that the Yali hunt, gather food, and sometimes fight with other nearby tribes using bows and spears. They really care about their traditions and don't want to talk to people from outside much because they want to stay special. Asmat Tribe. The Asmat tribe inhabits an area of around 19,000 square kilometers on New Guinea's southwest coast. In all, there are about 70,000 Asmat individuals. They are renowned for their distinct customs and culture, particularly for their dexterous woodcarving abilities. Many Asmat people make spirit boats, burn the mummified corpses of their leaders over wood embers, and create wooden statues of their ancestors. Legend has it that the Asmat people were created by Fisu, one of the first beings on Earth. Fisu carved figures of men and women from wood and crafted a drum. When he played the drum and sang, the wooden figures magically came to life and danced, becoming the first Asmat tribe members. The Asmat view humans as being like trees, with legs as roots, the torso as the trunk, and the head as the crown. They believe that, like trees, people can live long and be strong, but evil spirits can pose a threat. In Asmat belief, if someone dies unexpectedly or at a young age, evil spirits are thought to be responsible. To prevent these spirits from interfering with the community's well-being, the Asmat carve figures of the deceased from trees like mangrove, teak, and SEO. These sculptures, known as tiabui, are used in rituals where villagers beat drums and dance to send the soul of the deceased to the afterlife. After the ceremony, the statue is taken deep into the forest, chopped with an axe, and covered with palm leaves. Remarkably, until the late 20th century, the Asmat people practiced cannibalism as part of their rituals. They believed that the death of a relative required revenge, so they would kill members of other tribes and consume them. Additionally, they used the heads of these victims in ceremonies to initiate boys into manhood. However, the Asmat eventually recognized the cruelty of these practices and stopped engaging in them, choosing to abandon cannibalism and violence. Moken. The Moken people are an Austronesian ethnic group of around 3,000 people who dwell in the Mergui archipelago in Myanmar, the Andaman Islands, and the western coast of Thailand. They are nomads. Some tribes live on wooden boats called kabam and hardly set foot on land. They are now adept navigators on the sea, have developed underwater fishing skills, and can hold their breath for extended periods of time. Their larger spleen and resilience to saltwater irritation in their eyes are the reason scientists believe they possess this capacity. Legend has it that the Moken's ancestors once lived on land but became sea roamers after the king's daughter was taken by the ocean. However, DNA research suggests they are descendants of Austronesians from the Riau archipelago in Indonesia. Originally, they were hunters and gatherers on land, but gradually shifted to a seafaring lifestyle, using boats as their homes. However, life at sea is perilous, often placing them at the mercy of natural disasters, leading some tribes to settle on land. This, combined with other factors, has led to a decline in the number of Moken dedicated to their traditional ways over time. Naga. The history of the Naga people is intriguing. Perhaps you haven't heard of them. They reside close to the Myanmar border in northeastern India, in the heart of deep woods. The Naga people consist of 40 connected tribes, with a combined population of over 2 million, rather than simply one tiny tribe. The Naga people have long been recognized for their bravery and power as farmers and hunters. They used to be so courageous that they could defeat tigers in combat. Nowadays, the Naga also practice pottery and blacksmithing. In their families, men usually hold authority, but women aren't treated as inferior. They have their own rights and responsibilities, mainly taking care of the household and raising children. Interestingly, when a son gets married, he inherits the family home, and the parents move out to build a new one. Despite seeming ordinary, the Naga were once known as headhunters. Until the late 20th century, they were involved in constant conflicts over land. When they defeated an enemy, they took their head as a trophy. The more heads a warrior collected, the more respected they were in the community. Warriors with many tattoos were especially feared. Batak people. Originating from Sumatra, Indonesia, the Batak people mostly settled around Lake Toba. Remarkably, their forefathers originated in northern Myanmar and may be traced back to the Neolithic age in the Himalayas. The Batak people continue to engage in customs that respect their ancestors, like hunting, farming, and livestock husbandry, despite their distinct past. Funerals among the Batak are elaborate affairs, involving rituals, dances, and songs, emphasizing their connection to the afterlife and ancestors. While now considered peaceful and friendly, the Batak's past was marked by aggression towards strangers and other tribes. They were also divided into 4 community groups, and patriarchal slavery was once practiced. Most notably, the Batak were known for their history of cannibalism. They believed that those who committed crimes were no different from animals, and thus consumed them as part of a ritual after public execution. However, the Batak claim to have abandoned this practice long ago, though it remains a dark chapter in their history. Alai Kazakhs. The Alai Kazakhs are a tiny ethnic group noted for their historical practice of hunting with golden eagle. Their population is somewhat more than 10,000 and is located in Russia's Altai Republic's Kosh-Agach district. Despite their limited numbers, perhaps 100 people continue to pursue this craft. Taming these gorgeous birds is not an easy task. Kazakhs hunt out eagle nests in the highlands, capturing only young fledglings under 4 months old since they are simpler to train. Female eagles are selected due to their aggressive nature and size. The process of taming requires spending significant time with the eaglet until it trusts and obeys its owner. Once ready, the eagle accompanies the Kazakhs on hunts, typically in winter, targeting foxes, corsac, and sometimes hares. Riding out on horseback, the hunter releases the eagle from their shoulder when game is spotted. The eagle soars high before diving to attack its prey. Despite their fierce nature, golden eagles become deeply attached to their human partners and relish hunting together. After 6 to 8 years, the birds are released back into the wild for breeding, ensuring the continuation of their lineage. This tradition dates back to the 10th century with the Khitan people of Manchuria, and it's remarkable that the Alai Kazakhs are preserving and passing it on to future generations. The Sentinels. One of the rare tribes that totally shuns interaction with the outside world is the Sentinels. Known for their animosity towards foreigners, they reside on North Sentinel Island in the Andaman Islands. They may be descended from the first people to arrive on the island thousands of years ago. Their numbers range from 15 to 40. Scientists have tried to study the Sentinels, but they vehemently oppose the outside interaction. Their lifestyle is largely unknown, but they are believed to live as hunters and gatherers, using primitive tools like spears and bows. They have even adapted metal from shipwrecks for their use. Attempts to make contact with the Sentinels have mostly failed, with the tribe responding aggressively, even shooting arrows at helicopters flying overhead. Tragically, there have been fatalities, including the case of an American missionary named John Allen Chow, who was killed when he tried to approach the island. The Indian government strictly prohibits anyone from visiting the island, understanding the danger posed by such encounters. This isolation is reminiscent of other tribes who, upon encountering modern civilization, were overwhelmed by the unfamiliar technology and created what's known as a cargo cult. This movement originated during World War II, when aircraft dropped supplies in Melanesia. The sudden appearance of these items caused awe and confusion, leading to the emergence of a religious movement around the idea of receiving goods from the sky. Papuans. There is a distinct tribe in the Chimu province of Papua New Guinea with intriguing customs. As part of their ceremonies, they paint their bodies black, then cover it with white paint to resemble skeletons. They are able to converse with ghosts and drive them away thanks to this. Women are not permitted to participate in these rites. Only men, from young boys to senior men, are authorized. The Chimu tribe was hostile to other tribes and lived in isolation until the 1930s. However, they accepted to communicate with scientists when they wanted to study them, which helped us understand more about their traditions. Today, the Chimu tribe still follows their traditions, which include hunting, farming, and gathering food like berries, fruits, and meat. Women usually do the toughest work, while men focus on hunting and rituals. The tribe has realized that interacting with tourists can bring benefits, so they welcome visitors who bring useful gifts. Surprisingly, this interaction has made them more peaceful towards neighboring communities, and they no longer engage in attacks, preferring to live in peace while still keeping their unique traditions alive. Mosuo, nestled near the Tibetan border in a gorgeous area near Lugu Lake, the Mosuo people are a unique ethnic group within the Naxi ethnic group in China. The Mosuo people are members of the Himalayan people. They are distinguished by their rich culture and traditions, particularly by their distinctive attire and rituals, and have a population of about 57,000. A significant milestone in Mosuo life is the coming-of-age ceremony at 13, marking the transition from childhood to adulthood. Before this, both boys and girls dress alike, but afterward, girls don skirts, while boys wear trousers. What truly distinguishes the Mosuo is their matriarchal society, where women hold authority and inheritance passes through the female line. Their practice of walking marriages further sets them apart, where husbands visit their wives only at night, spending the day in their own homes. Consequently, children often grow up without knowing their fathers. Despite this, many Mosuo women embrace this custom, believing it fosters harmonious relationships by eliminating jealousy and domestic strife. Their traditional attire is striking, reminiscent of a bygone era yet exuding elegance and charm. Additionally, religion holds a significant place in Mosuo life, blending elements of the Bon religion and Tibetan Buddhism. Initially followers of the Bon faith, which emphasizes spirits, ancestor worship, and reverence for a mother goddess, Buddhism has also become integral to their spiritual beliefs. As tourism grows in their region, concerns arise among Mosuo elders about preserving their cultural heritage and identity amidst encroaching modernity. They strive to maintain their uniqueness and traditions in the face of increasing outside influence. Aborigines. The Aborigines, upon seeing airplanes drop gifts, believed them to be divine beings delivering treasures. They noticed the gifts were sent to military bases, leading them to mimic American actions by building watchtowers and creating straw airplanes. They even painted USA on their chests, thinking it had spiritual significance. When the war ended, the gifts stopped, leaving the Aborigines disappointed. They continued mimicking the Americans, eventually accusing them of stealing the gifts. Today, cargo cult refers to blindly imitating actions without understanding their purpose. Chukchi, a tiny native ethnic group from Northeast Asia. The Chukchi people are mostly found in Russia's Chukotka Autonomous Okrug. Less than 16,000 Chukchi people exist. They are said to have arrived in the Chukotka region in the 3rd century BC, and since then, they have continued to live according to their ancient ways, but with a few contemporary improvements like hospitals and schools. Today, the Chukchi have two main groups: reindeer herders and coastal hunters. The reindeer herders raise reindeer for food, milk, and transportation. Coastal Chukchi hunt marine animals like seals, walruses, and whales using harpoons, spears, and firearms. They live in yurts, which are tent-like structures covered with reindeer skins and stones for protection against strong winds. Inside, there's a warm living space called Uranga, and a front area with a fire called Chagan. Inca civilization. The ancestors of the Incas still reside in the Andes, a remote region of Peru, despite the common misconception that they vanished. There are just 600 of these people, who go by the name of Quechua people, and they are considered endangered. They were abused and had to hide in the forests in order to defend themselves in the late 1980s. Even though they live far from cities, the Quechua build their own houses and take care of animals like alpacas. The government helps them with things like water and basic supplies. They don't mind some contact with the modern world. They want to keep their own customs and culture. They believe in being spiritual, but they don't follow any specific religion. Some have become Christians because of missionaries. They have leaders called priests who guide them spiritually. The Quechua were unknown until 1949, when an explorer found them speaking a language similar to the Incas. They shared that they were descendants of the Incas who survived in the forests. Even though they could claim their Inca heritage, they preferred to stay away from modern life to honor their ancestors' ways. Despite some interaction with the outside world, the Chukchi people hold on to their traditions and customs.